Hello citizens, I would like to share with you my top 5 things that PES or Persistent Entity Streaming will introduce in Star Citizen. Now these are things that I see clearly now being much more imminent as a result of the implementation of PES that you might not be thinking about. There's no table of contents as this video is a bit more straightforward than the others, so off we go. CIG has been discussing the soon-to-be implemented homesteads in Star Citizen with the release of 4.0, which is slated to come later in this year or possibly 2024. Homesteads will introduce the framework and beginning steps into base building and the concept of places where we all can call our own outside of just the upcoming persistent habs and hangars. Now, homesteads will start us down that wonderful path of home and base ownership in Star Citizen. This will begin to introduce some very key MMO gameplay mechanics and features that many of us have been dreaming of for a very long time. I cannot tell you how much time I spend in MMOs just building, adding, or modifying my base of operations. This will be a game loop all by itself for many, myself included. Now, there has been some controversy over the years over ship customization, in particular regarding how we can currently only customize our ships via paints purchased in the RSI store or those that are gifted to us. I'll be honest, I would love the option to customize my ships with a paint job that no one else has with an in-game tool or website-based customization tool. Do I think this would be possible in the future? Well, I most certainly hope so, but CIG hasn't mentioned much about this as of late. So we will have to wait and see what new information comes out in the future. Most importantly, the possibilities are endless due to PES. This should afford the possibility to customize many things, even outside of just our ships. This is worth keeping on your radar for when CIG does decide to provide additional information. Today, we can acquire many things in the game, and when homesteads come online, you can start to imagine that customization will be a very hot topic and potential game loop in and of itself. I don't know about you, but I really want to be able to make my homestead my own, with my creative and decorative expression on full display. To take this a bit further, maybe there is a possibility of us owning our own customization shops where we can lend our creativity for a small fee of Alpha UEC. Now overall, I fully anticipate many options for customization in the future. And I believe that PES is a key component to that potential in Star Citizen and how it's being made. PES allows things to persist in the game, so without it, true broader customization capabilities would not be possible, and that is my opinion. I would definitely be keeping my eyes and ears open to any news that starts to come out on this as PES does continue to be fleshed out and polished. What cannot be denied is that PES does make this much more feasible to be implemented in the grand scheme of things. Now, some could argue that crafting is possible without PES, and you wouldn't necessarily be wrong. However, the full vision of crafting and player-owned shops and operations does in fact require PES. As we know, PES is all about that persistence, and without that, how can we confidently persist our inventories and large-scale business ventures? PES will allow us to set up shop and truly build our own businesses on whatever crafting gameplay CIG conjures up, which according to what is documented will be quite vast. As with the other things on this list, take it all with a grain of salt, and let's wait to hear more about this directly from CIG. Yet, I do get excited every time I think about the possibilities when it comes to crafting and enterprise opportunities in the future of Star Citizen. Now, you can tip your hat to PES as part of the foundation of this future potential gameplay. So this ties in really well with number 5, which we'll get to in just a moment. But the survival gameplay even now in Star Citizen can be a lot of fun and interesting. We have a pretty solid foundation to some really cool and engaging gameplay experiences as a result. We have the Tier 0 health and player damage system, along with the necessity of food and water. We also have a Tier 0 weather and temperature system that governs how we manage and play our characters in the game of overall survival. Enter persistent entity streaming, and now you have the groundwork for true long-term survival gameplay. Before PES, if you get stranded on a planet or moon, or just in deep space, you could log off and just like that, you're back at your hab and safe. In 3.18, not much changes in this regard, but in the future we know that it will be possible to have gear that you can use to set up camp and log out remotely, even outside of your ship. Now, the full mechanics of this has not been entirely disclosed, but coming directly from CIG a while ago, we heard about and saw the creation of camping gear on a Star Citizen live episode. So what does this mean? There is a day coming where logging out in the middle of nowhere will not be a sufficient way to get to safety. You will have to consider and plan, or truly find a way out of danger or precarious situations more actively. This opens up more survival gameplay opportunities and strategies overall. If you get stranded on Microtech's Code Planet surface, I hope you wore the right gear and brought the right items that can keep you alive long enough to be rescued. As you might imagine, this alone opens up a gameplay loop for those who enjoy the occasional rescue operation. In fact, maybe that is all you want to do in Star Citizen. Be the hero, ready and willing to save a citizen's life when they call for help. Now, this is probably my most anticipated out of all 5 on this list. My number 1 gameplay loop in Star Citizen will most likely be exploration. Exploring the farthest reaches of space, discovering anomalies, extraterrestrial life forms, flora and fauna, as well as the occasional derelict space station, etc., etc., etc. That is the life. From seeing exotic new locations, whether that be undiscovered moons, planets, asteroid belts ripe with untapped resources, to the most dangerous areas of space, gatekeeping the most interesting artifacts. Exploration gameplay is teeming with so many gameplay opportunities. Persistent entity streaming is definitely a huge part of what will make these things possible. Okay, now these are just my top 5. Please take the time to let me know what you consider to be your top 5 or 10 or maybe more in the comments section below. Happy gaming to you, and please check out some of my other content on the channel. That's all for me though. Please like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. I'll see you in the next video.